There comes a moment in every person's life, a defining moment, when the veil is lifted and they see clearly for the first time. They do not see the world as it is, but as it can be. They see themselves not as they have been, but as they must become. And when this moment arrives, it changes everything. You will never be the same after this. You have lived, perhaps for years, in quiet desperation. You've followed routines, obeyed limits set by others, and accepted mediocrity as if it were a life sentence. But let me tell you, mediocrity is not your destiny, fear is not your master, and your current reality is not your final destination. There is something within you, something powerful, something relentless. A force that does not bow to circumstance. It is the definite purpose of your life, and once awakened, it cannot be silenced. The reason most people never rise, never achieve greatness, never build the life they truly desire, is because they have never made an irrevocable decision. They have never burned the ships. They have always left an escape route, a back door, a plan B. But history has shown us time and time again, nothing of value is ever gained by a divided mind. Decide, once and for all, that the old version of you is finished. The doubter, the procrastinator, the excuse maker, bury them. You must build a new identity, forged from discipline, faith, and relentless action. Because until you change your identity, your habits will betray you. Your mind will revert, your environment will reclaim you. Understand this, you are not a product of your environment. You are a product of your decisions, and the most powerful decision you can make today is this: I will never return to the person I was. I am becoming something greater. I am rising into the fullness of my potential, and I will not stop. When the pain of remaining the same becomes greater than the fear of change, that is when transformation begins. You will lose some people along the way. Let them go. You will be misunderstood. Accept it. You will feel alone at times. Endure it, because the price of transformation is isolation, discipline, and persistence. But the reward, the reward is freedom, and hear this. Success does not come to those who simply want it. It comes to those who expect it, prepare for it, and act upon it as if it were already theirs. The world does not reward intention, it rewards execution. So today, right now, make the decision that will define the rest of your life. You don't need more time, you don't need more information, you don't need permission. What you need is courage. Courage to believe in the unseen. Courage to take the first step. Courage to keep going when the road gets dark. Every day you wake up with breath in your lungs. You are being given another chance to rise. Don't squander it. Today is not just another day. This is the day the transformation begins. Because after this decision, after this moment of truth, you will never be the same, and that is exactly how it should be. There arrives a time in every individual's life when the ordinary must give way to the extraordinary. A moment of piercing clarity when the fog lifts, and one is confronted with the undeniable truth of who they are, and more importantly, who they can become. This moment is not marked by fanfare or celebration. It does not come with a trumpet's call or flashing lights. It is quiet, internal, and powerful. It is the moment of awakening, the moment that divides your life into two distinct parts, before and after. And once you pass through it, you will never be the same. You may have wandered through the days, months, or even years in a kind of spiritual slumber, doing what was expected, saying what pleased others, and accepting the dull routine that the world labels as normal. But deep within you there was always a voice, small, persistent, often ignored, that told you this is not all there is, you were meant for more, the world will not hand you greatness, it will not force you to rise. But it will give you moments, opportunities, where the soul is stirred, the fire is lit, and the truth becomes unbearable to ignore. That truth is this: you are not living up to your potential, and you know it. It is in that moment, that sacred inner storm, where transformation begins. You suddenly see your past patterns for what they are, not failures, but lessons, not shameful, but necessary. You realize that every delay, every disappointment, and every detour was preparing you for this moment. The moment you decide to change, not someday, but now. Not when it's convenient, but when it's necessary. And once you see, truly see, you cannot unsee. The comfort of ignorance is stripped away. You now recognize that you have a responsibility to yourself, to your destiny, and to the gift of life itself. This is not a moment to fear, it is a moment to celebrate, for in that instant of realization you have broken the chains that held you back. From here forward, your life is no longer ruled by hesitation or doubt, but by clarity and action. You walk differently, you speak differently, you begin to think from a higher place. You no longer beg life to be easier. You demand that you become stronger, the old version of you, the one who accepted less, who hesitated, who doubted, is gone. In its place stands a person of vision, of power, of definite purpose. This transformation is irreversible. Once you commit to this new path, the world begins to respond. People will notice the fire in your eyes. Opportunities will begin to align with your intent, but none of it would have happened without that one moment, that defining moment, when you woke up to your own power. After this, you will never be the same. And that is precisely the point. The greatest tragedy of modern life is not poverty, nor failure, nor rejection. It is the quiet acceptance of mediocrity. It is the man or woman who wakes each morning with a spark of greatness buried deep within, yet moves through the day as if they were born only to survive. The truth, though seldom spoken aloud, is this: mediocrity is not a condition, it is a choice. The average person will tell you they never asked for a life of limitations, that they are simply a product of their surroundings, their upbringing, their circumstances, but that is the language of defeat, and defeat is always self-inflicted before it is ever made visible by external forces. You were not born to be average. No child enters this world thinking small. They dream of conquering mountains, building empires, and reaching the stars. It is only through repeated exposure to doubt, fear, and failure spoken over them by those who gave up that they learn to shrink. And if they are not careful, they will begin to wear mediocrity like a familiar coat, never realizing that they can take it off at any time. Mediocrity feels safe. It asks for little and demands nothing. But it is a slow death. It drains the spirit, dulls the mind, and corrodes ambition. The man who chooses comfort over challenge, who prefers routine over risk, must know this. He is trading his potential for temporary ease. Why do most people settle? Because greatness requires more. It demands sacrifice, discipline, the strength to stand alone. It requires that you believe in yourself long before anyone else does. It calls for work in silence while others laugh, for faith when evidence is nowhere to be found. And yet, mediocrity will always welcome you back. It will never criticize you for quitting. It will never ask why you didn't try harder. But at night, when the world is quiet, you'll hear it, that voice reminding you that you were capable of more, that you were meant for something greater. Those who rise above mediocrity are not born with more talent, more opportunity, or more luck. They are born with the same breath in their lungs as everyone else. The only difference is that they decided. They made an irrevocable commitment to refuse a life of regret. They chose to become intentional in thought, purposeful in action, and relentless in the face of failure. And make no mistake, life will test your commitment. It will whisper that it's easier to go back to the familiar, but each time you choose excellence over ease, vision over comfort, faith over fear, you separate yourself from the masses. There is no honor in blending in. The world is changed by those who stand out, those who rise not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. If you ever hope to leave behind a legacy worth remembering, you must first reject the ordinary. Because once you realize that mediocrity is a choice, you'll understand something far more powerful. So is greatness. The moment you decide that there is no turning back, the universe begins to move. Doors once locked swing open, strength you thought was beyond you begins to rise from within, and obstacles that once towered above you begin to shrink, not because they changed, but because you did. But this transformation does not occur through wishful thinking, nor through half-hearted effort. It begins, and only begins, when you make an irrevocable decision, a decision so final, so absolute, that every fiber of your being is aligned with it. Until you reach that point, you are not truly committed. You are simply interested. The masses dabble, they toy with ambition, they say they want change, but they leave the back door open. They keep a second plan, a fallback, a reason to quit if things get uncomfortable, and so they always do. The world respects only those who burn the ships, who destroy retreat as an option, and who plant their flag in the soil of their destiny, declaring, "This is mine, I will not leave without it." Greatness does not tolerate hesitation. It does not reveal itself to the faint of heart or the casual seeker. It bows only to the one who has decided, the kind of decision that leaves no room for negotiation, no space for retreat, and no tolerance for excuses. You may ask, "But what if I fail?" You misunderstand. True commitment is not made with the guarantee of success. It is made with the willingness to fight, to endure, and to persist regardless of the outcome. And here is the secret. Those who commit without condition, those who act with total faith and unwavering resolve rarely fail. For failure has no grip on the one who refuses to let go. Look around at those who have achieved anything remarkable. You will not find men and women who had perfect conditions or easy roads. You will find individuals who decided, once and for all, that they would not accept anything less than the vision they held in their mind. They faced rejection, they endured ridicule, they suffered loss, but they never stepped off the path, and because of that, the world eventually made room for their determination. You must do the same. Draw a line in the sand, declare to yourself, not with words alone, but with consistent, tireless action, "I will not go back. I will not be the person who gave up halfway. I will not live with regret gnawing at my soul." This is not just about ambition. It is about identity. The moment you decide with finality, you are no longer the same. You become someone new, someone forged in discipline, someone driven by purpose, someone unstoppable. You will feel the shift the moment the decision is made, not a temporary surge of motivation, but a permanent change in direction. From that point forward, your life belongs to purpose. And the person you used to be will never return, because once you decide without retreat, you are reborn. There is a lie that has been whispered into the ears of millions, a lie so subtle, yet so destructive, that it has held more people back than failure ever could. That lie says you are a product of your environment. It tells you that your circumstances define you, that your past imprisons you, and that your surroundings will forever determine your destiny. But let this truth be planted deep within your mind today. You are not a product of your environment. You are a product of your decisions. The world around you may shape your early experiences, but it does not have the authority to write the story of your future. Only you do, and the pen you hold in your hand is called choice. You can come from poverty and choose wealth. You can grow up in chaos and choose peace. You can be surrounded by doubt and choose faith. You can be overlooked, misunderstood, underestimated, and still rise simply because you chose to. Your power lies not in where you start, but in what you decide to become. Understand this, the mind is the master key. Every circumstance you face is neutral until you assign it meaning. Every limitation is powerless until you accept it. And every obstacle is only as real as your willingness to be stopped by it. If you allow the world to dictate your identity, then you will always be at the mercy of forces outside your control. But when you claim full responsibility for your life, you unlock the very force that reshapes worlds. There are those who blame their lack of progress on the economy, their upbringing, their relationships, their health, or their education. But none of those things are immovable. What is immovable is will. What is unbreakable is desire, and what is unstoppable is a soul that has made up its mind to change its course. You must stop waiting for conditions to improve before you begin. You must stop wishing for the right time, the perfect place, or the ideal support. Those who succeed are not those with the best circumstances. They are those who refuse to allow circumstance to become an excuse. Look at the greatest stories of triumph in history, and you will find a pattern. Every man or woman who accomplished something extraordinary did so in defiance of their environment, not because of it. They rose not because they had fewer obstacles, but because they had greater resolve. So the question is not, where did you come from? The real question is, where are you going? And more importantly, what are you deciding, right now, about who you are? And no one will hand you permission to rise. You must seize it for yourself. Choose growth over comfort. Choose vision over circumstance. Choose power over passivity. For once you understand that your destiny is shaped by decision, not condition, you become truly free. And from that moment on, you are no longer at the mercy of life. You are the master of it. The road to transformation is not lined with applause, nor paved with comfort. It is narrow, rugged, and lonely. And those who walk it must do so with unwavering courage, for the cost of becoming your highest self is steep. It demands everything. You will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will feel alone. But let there be no doubt, this is the price of greatness. Most people never tell you this truth. They speak of success as if it were glamorous, as if the journey is one of ease and constant motivation. But that is a fairy tale. The reality is far different. The climb requires solitude. It demands that you break away from the crowd, leave behind the familiar, and separate yourself from the very environment that kept you small. Not everyone will understand your hunger. Some will mock it, others will fear it, and many will try to pull you back into the life you are trying to escape. That is the burden of the visionary, to see what others do not, to believe in what has not yet been built, and to persist even when the world remains silent. You must accept this solitude not as punishment, but as proof that you are on the right path. For the path of mediocrity is always crowded. It is the road of comfort, compromise, and consensus, but the path to transformation, it is walked alone, because few have the strength to carry the weight of their own potential. There will be moments when the silence is deafening, when no one claps for you, no one believes in you, and no one reaches out to pull you forward. In those moments, remember this: the fire inside must be greater than the noise outside. You are not doing this for applause. You are doing this because the life you dream of demands a better version of you, and that version is not created in comfort, but in challenge. Discipline will become your closest companion. Sacrifice will become your daily practice, and persistence, unrelenting, tireless, unshakable persistence, will be the force that carries you when motivation disappears. Many will start the journey, but few will finish. Not because they lacked ability, but because they were unwilling to endure the loneliness that growth requires. But those who do endure, those who stand firm when the world goes quiet, they are the ones who rise. They are the ones who become the example. They are the ones who make history. So if you find yourself walking alone, keep walking. If you feel misunderstood, keep building. If it hurts, let it sharpen you. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. And when the day comes that your vision becomes real, when the dream in your mind becomes the life you live, you'll look back on the struggle with gratitude, because it was the isolation that forged your strength. It was the silence that taught you to listen to your own voice, and it was the loneliness that proved you were always enough. Success does not belong to the dreamers. It belongs to the doers. It is not handed to those who merely wish for it or hope for it. It is claimed by those who expect it, those who rise each day with the firm belief that it is not only possible, but inevitable, and this belief is not passive. It is active, disciplined, and relentless. There is a vast difference between wanting success and preparing for success. The world is full of people who want. They speak of goals, write them down, even talk about them to others. But wanting is not enough. Wanting without action is daydreaming, and daydreams do not build empires. The individual who succeeds is the one who has made up his mind, completely, absolutely, and without condition. He has decided that there will be no plan B, no backdoor, no surrender. His vision is not a hope, it is a demand, and he moves toward it every day with full conviction that what he desires will become real. But that expectation must be backed by relentless action, action in the face of uncertainty, action when others doubt you, action even when you feel like quitting. The world responds not to intention, but to movement. If your actions do not match your expectations, then your belief is weak, and your results will be too. Too many people wait for motivation. They wait to feel ready, but those who achieve extraordinary results understand that action comes before emotion. You do not act because you are inspired. You become inspired because you took the first step. You do not wait for the stars to align. You move, and the universe begins to align with you. When you move with expectation, your entire energy changes. You speak differently. You carry yourself with authority. You walk into rooms not hoping for permission, but knowing you belong. And this energy, this certainty, draws opportunities to you. People sense it. They respect it. They respond to it. But this is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. You must expect greatness not once, but constantly. You must act with persistence not occasionally, but habitually. The moment you hesitate, the moment you doubt, you invite failure back into your life. That is why your faith must be stronger than your fear. Your work ethic must be louder than your excuses. Your commitment must outlive your discomfort. Greatness is not a destination, it is a result of countless days spent doing what others refused to do, a result of holding the vision when the evidence was nowhere to be found, a result of expecting more from yourself than anyone else ever could. If you are not living the life you want, look closely at what you expect from yourself, and how you act in accordance with that expectation, because success is not magic. It is the natural consequence of belief, backed by action, enforced by discipline, and driven by a mind made up. And once you move with that kind of certainty, success has no choice but to answer.